Welcome everybody to Central London and the press conference for the last Crescendo, a Riyadh season mega bill which is coming our way on February the 22nd. To describe this card as stacked would be a ludicrous understatement. It's got 4 world title fights on it, 3 interim world title fights on it. The co-main events sees a rematch between Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol for undisputed light heavyweight after their fantastic fight back in mid-October. That's a pretty quick turnaround. And Daniel Dubois defends his IBF World Heavyweight title. He won in amazing, chaotic fashion at Wembley back in September. He's up against Joseph Parker. There is a lot more on the card apart from that. Fighters from all over the world across lots of different weight divisions. We'll hear from almost all of them when the press conference gets underway. Joining me, Johnny Nelson and Matt Macklin. And Matt, just firstly, that rematch between Beterbiev and Bivol, by the time they get in the ring in January, it'll be just over 4 months. We wanted to see the rematch as soon as the final bell went, and we got our wish.
I mean, it was painfully close, wasn't it? It was almost impossible to split them. I had it a draw on my card. I could see it either way. There was a few swing rounds, let's say, really close, could have gone either way. I think around me, more people felt Bivol nicked it, but online, I think a lot of people had Beterbiev. We were there ringside. It was really close. Always going to be a rematch. There could be a third one out of this. They're that close. They're that evenly matched. That I wouldn't be surprised if this fight was just as close again.
Johnny, I think we're about to go to the actual press conference, but quickly, Daniel Dubois, what a win at Wembley. Wow. We'll see him again soon.
He's on the roll. We just saw Don Charles walk past. Don's got a big smile on his face. First Happy New Year of the year with him. But again, what a way to roll straight into 2025.
Okay, here we go. Here's Thomas Stryber.
Crescendo, a great night of World Championship boxing to be held on Saturday, February 22nd, from the Kingdom Arena in Riyadh, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We would first like to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and the custodian of the 2 holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and His Excellency, Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, GIA, Turkey, Ala Sheikh. This great event is being brought to you by Riyadh Season and the General Entertainment Authority, GIA, with Frank Warren for Queensberry Promotions, Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing, Bob Arum for Top Rank Incorporated, Gold Star Promotions, Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions, Warriors Boxing, Boxer, and Sella. Along with their great sponsors, Saudi Tourism Authority, Saudi National Bank, STC, Dr. Suleiman El Habib Medical Group, Saudi Airlines, New Murabba Development Company, Taounia, Hunger Station, Lucid Motors, and Al Tanfidi. A big thanks to those great sponsors. It will be shown worldwide and in the UK on DAZN and also in the UK on TNT Sports Box Office. And now, boxing fans, let's welcome our press conference participants. Already seated, Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, Vadim Kornilov, Brad Jacobs, Spencer Brown, the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, Ben Shalom, Lennox Lewis, Mohammed Alakel, Ziad Zizo Al-Mayoof, Brad Jaleh Big Bang Jang, Hamza Sheeraz, Shakur Stevenson, Israel the Dream Madrimov, Virgil Ortiz Jr., Joseph Parker. Triple D, Daniel Dynamite Dubois. And now it is my honor to hand the microphone over to International Boxing Hall of Fame ring announcer, Mr. Michael Buffer.
Thank you, Thomas. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Riyadh's season has definitely outdone itself by putting together one of the greatest cards in boxing history in recent memory, perhaps the best ever. It's the type of evening on February 22nd that boxing fans and broadcasters, pundits, promoters, and fighters dream about. A great evening of boxing. And the cherry on top will be the final contest, the main event, the rematch. Will it be revenge? Will it be validation? It's 12 rounds of boxing for the universally recognized, undisputed light heavyweight championship of the world. Let's bring the challenger and champion to the stage and to their seat. Introducing first, the challenger, an outstanding record, 24 fights, 23 victories, 12 wins by knockout, and that one defeat, and he's seeking revenge. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the former undefeated light heavyweight champion of the world, Dmitry Bivol. And his opponent, February 22nd, for this undisputed title. His record, 21 victories in 21 fights, 20 wins by knockout, a perfect record. Ladies and gentlemen, he's seeking validation, and he is the universally recognized, reigning, defending, undefeated light heavyweight champion of the world, Artur Beterbiev. And at this time, let me turn it over to our host this evening, Mr. Dev Sani.
Thank you very much, Michael Buffer. By the way, I get those big fight feels whenever Michael Buffer is in town. Also, Thomas Triber, some brilliant intros there. Can we please get a round of applause for our brilliant MCs today? Okay, well, welcome to the official launch of the last Crescendo. Once again, Riyadh plays host to a myriad of mega fights. Once again, there are legacy-defining moments across multiple world title fights. Once again, boxing fans are trawling through the history books, wondering, could this be the best one yet? One thing's for sure, once again, Riyadh's season delivers. On February 22nd, we proudly bring you what could be top to bottom, the finest fight card put together in history. We bring you the last Crescendo. I want to start by one of the men making it all happen, one of the promoters involved, Hall of Fame boxing promoter, Frank Warren. And Frank, every time a Riyadh season show is announced, everyone's like, wow, best one yet. I want to get your thoughts and also get your thoughts on some of the Queensberry fighters involved. So many important fights there. Daniel Dubois, Joe Parker, Hamza Sheeraz and Gilles Big Bang Jang. Give us your thoughts, please, Frank.
Well, it is a great pleasure to be here again at the press conference announcing these. We thank everybody that's involved in making this happen. King Salman bin Abdulaziz, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, Chairman of the GA, and Sella, who we work with. We're starting 2025 with a huge fight, as you just said, card, as you just said, is probably the biggest one, certainly I can think of, in many, 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 many years, if indeed not the biggest one at all, on February the 22nd. I mean, every fight on this card is just an amazing fight. They're well matched. They're 50-50 fights. The main event, it was a brilliant fight last time. Connoisseurs of boxing will love it. We're back here again to see that fight again, made very quickly, I may say as well. So it's going to be a A fantastic fight, no doubt about that. Great, 4 belts on the line. Doesn't get any better than that. And the rest of the fights on the card are just brilliant. And the British contingent is, for me, really a pleasure to be involved with. I mean, these fighters are all, again, involved in 50 fights. Tough fights, great fights. And I think we're going to get something extra special this time round. This is going to be something we're going to save. All you boxing fans out there, whether you're dedicated fans or casual fans, you tune in because you are going to see something exceptional on the 22nd of February.
And in terms of the Queensberry fighters involved there, just want to get your thoughts on Daniel Dubois. That's quite a statement of a voluntary defence against Joe Parker. Tell us a little bit about that fight. Then, of course, Hamza Sheeraz finally challenging for a world title, and Gilles Big Bang Jang against Ajit Kabayel.
But, you know, Ring Magazine's Knockout Artist of the Year. That's what he was. His last 3 fights have been amazing. He's gone in as an underdog in each of those fights and stopped everybody and done it in style, and, you know, undefeated fighters and former world champions. He's done it unbelievably well. And as you quite rightly say, you know, Joe Parker, he's also on the Queensberry roster. He's on a roll himself, a former world champion. And for me, you know, Daniel couldn't have picked a tougher fight. He couldn't have picked a tougher fight. And that's what this is about, this Riyadh season, the Riyadh card, is making these quality matches. And Daniel's going to have his hands full, but he believes in himself. I believe in him. Joe believes in himself. He's done it. He's on as I said, he's on a roll. And we're going to see a cracking fight. It's going to be a classic heavyweight fight. The division is so sexy at the moment. So many good things happening in that division. And Daniel, especially with Tyson today, you know, coming to the end of his career, announcing his retirement, you know, he's the next Brit on the block coming through. He's the guy. So he's got to keep the old British tradition going and win the fight.
Great stuff, Frank. I'll come back to you when we speak to Hamza and Ajit Kabayel and Big Bang Jang. Let me bring in Spencer Brown. Spencer, I think you answered that knock on the door all those months ago. What a story Riyadh season has been, and this last Crescendo card, hey, it might be the best one ever.
It's definitely the best card I've ever seen. And I've watched many, many cards and many, many fights and many, many shows. And this, for me, is just quality right the way through. This is all down to Turki Al-Sheikh, who puts the cards together with all the promoters. And, you know, we've got Lennox Lewis on the table now with a fighter. So you haven't just got great fighters, great promoters. You've got legends now. You know, he's bringing new stuff to the sport every time. And this card's incredible. I'm lucky I've got involved with 3 or 4 fighters on the card. I fancy all of them. I think Joe Parker will come out victorious. I really like Daniel Dubois. He's a lovely fella, great fighter. But, you know, they've got Joe down as an underdog. But, you know, you've got to remember who he's fought, who he's been in with, the experience he's got. You know, and Joe's a very clever, strong fighter with a great chin. So let's see what Joe does. We've got Ajit Kabayel, who I think will be, you know, future of the heavyweight division. He'll be in line for a WBC title. And I'll tell you what else I like as well. Hamza Sheeraz never, for 1 minute, not even a blink. He took the fight straight away, and I think he's the new star in British middleweight boxing.
Hey, maybe one day 6'4", the fella.
Yeah, mind you, he looks like heavyweight, doesn't he? He's as big as a heavyweight. And also, I've just got to mention as well that Turki Al-Sheikh's got a gym in Riyadh. We all know it, the Mike Tyson gym. And we've got a couple of kids coming through. And Saudi Arabian fighters, we've got 2 on the card. 2 Saudi kids. So it's testament to him. Both good fighters and both got big futures.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you, Spencer Brown. Let's bring in Eddie Hearn, another huge show that you're involved in here, Eddie. And notably, I want to get your thoughts on the main event. You're sat next to Dimitri Bivol. You were very vocal after the fight. You believe your man should be sat there as undisputed light heavyweight champion.
Yeah, thanks, Dev. Good afternoon, everybody. What another card. I mean, how many times have I said to all the members of the media. This is the card of the year. Well, this isn't the card of the year. It's not even the card of the decade. This is unequivocally the greatest fight card we have ever seen in the sport. Sometimes you have a great main event and you put some big names on, but you don't put the big names on from top to bottom in 50-50 fights. Just a breathtaking card, by far the strongest Riyadh season card. The inquiries have been global in terms of people anticipating this event to travel to Riyadh, and I suggest any fight fan makes their way to Riyadh on February 22nd, not just because it's a great place to be, but to witness, as I said, the greatest spectacle in the history of boxing, top to bottom, the greatest fight card. From our respect for the Matchroom stable, of course, Callum Smith against Joshua Buatsi, one of the best fights that can be made domestically, a fight that would fill the Marks and Spencer's Arena in Liverpool, fill the O2 Arena, and just part of a tremendous card here. You've got the two Matchroom v Golden Boy matchups. Israel Madrimov, who lost a very close decision to Terence Crawford recently against Virgil Ortiz. I think arguably the best fight that can get made at £154. And what about Shakur Stevenson against Floyd Schofield? Shakur Stevenson is the future of boxing. Already for me a pound-for-pound star. This man is 27 years old. He's a 3-division world champion, and he is a phenomenal, phenomenal fighter. And of course the main event, Dmitry Bivol against Artur Beterbiev. We were all lucky to be there. Probably one of the best fights I've seen up close. Two of the greatest fighters of our generation. And for me, in a close fight, the man to my left should be sitting here as undisputed champion right now. When we got in that ring, I believe both teams knew there was only one winner in that fight. And now it's time to put it right on February 22nd. Respect to both. Respect to Turki Al-Sheikh for making this fight happen again. The undisputed light heavyweight championship of the world, one of the best fights in the sport on the greatest card in the history of sport. February 22nd in Riyadh. Don't miss it.
Thank you, Eddie. Well, let's start working these tables. Plenty of people to speak to here today. Young Mohammed Alakal, I mean, you've just heard people talk about how this is the greatest fight card in history, Mohammed. You made your pro debut on the Beterbiev Bivol first fight. Here you are, fight number 3. I mean, this is incredible. What a career you are having so far, young man. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm humbled and honored to be fighting in this card. I would like to thank His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh for making me part of this event. And yeah, you know, keep improving, working hard, and yeah, sky's the limit.
You scored a lovely knockdown last time out when I saw you. I think that was on the Fury Usyk show, so big fights every time. What are you expecting on February 22nd?
Another great performance, inshallah.
Best of luck to you, Mohammed Alakal. Let's speak to another young man. Yeah, let's get a round of applause, actually. Mohammed Alakal. Great stuff, and well led there by Ziad Al-Mayouth. I think we'll probably give you one as well after you've finished talking, now that you've done that. But listen, every time I see you, every time I speak to you, you're always talking about how you just want to fight. You just want to fight. Well, what an opportunity, what a show for you.
Yeah, 100%. First of all, I want to kick things off by thanking the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman, and His Royal Highness the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, for their trust in me and their faith in me to empower our youth, boxing, and be a flag bearer on such a global stage. I want to thank Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, for just the opportunity once, twice, 3, and the unprecedented and everlasting support for taking me under his wings and putting his dream in me to bring a world title to Saudi Arabia, and inshallah I'll do it. Inshallah we'll do it now. And I've said it before and I want to say it again. This is a multi-generational story where every generation we see a power puncher, every generation we see a fast puncher, but it's only multi-generational where you see the history makers, where you see the people who are representing not just a country in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, but a whole side of the world, in the Arab world, but such a powerful place like the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, not just carrying our dreams, our hopes, or our pressures, but the pressures of millions on our back. And me and Muhammad are doing that on this card. And I'm so proud to see another Saudi fighter here today, and I'm so proud to see that 2 of us are on this card, and One day you'll see a table full of us, and another day you'll see a whole card full of Saudi fighters, and I am not going to stop until I see that. I've always said this is more than just about me. This is bigger than boxing, bigger than life, larger than life, as they say. And this is why Zizo is here, you know, for all Saudi fighters. Have no fear, because Zizo is here, and I want to see you all, you know, shine.
I love that. Love that. Have no fear, because Zizo is here. Thank you very much, Ziad Al-Mayouf. Well, listen, you may notice, in fact, it was announced at the start, there's many legends here. Lennox Lewis is sat up here. He's not making a comeback, I don't think. Don't call it a comeback, but Lennox Lewis, we're so happy to be in your company, working alongside Constantino Nanga. So tell us about this. Tell us about your man who's fighting on February 22nd.
Well, we actually met a couple months ago, and I went to training camp, and you know, I seen the potential in Constantine, and I figured that you know, he wanted me to help him. And what did you want me to do? Be an advisor in his career, and that's what I am, an advisor right now.
And Lennox, you strike me as the sort of guy, you wouldn't just waste your time with anyone. Why is this guy special?
He's special. You know, I spent some time in the gym with him, and I found that, you know, he's got a lot of heart, and, you know, you need the heart, and he wants to be a champion. I've seen that in him as well, and I'm going to help him do that, reach his success.
Since I've got you, Lennox, and we'll speak to Constantino and Brad Ray very shortly, but since I've got you, I can't ignore that, you know, there's a World Heavyweight Championship fight here, Daniel Dubois against Joseph Parker. What are you thinking about that one?
I think it's going to be a great fight. I think the whole card is great. You're going to be, Frank Warren was right. There are a lot of 50-50 fights here, so it's a great fight for the fans.
Can I push you for a prediction?
May the best man win. I mean, they both got talent, and it's really down to the mental and the physical. They're all fighting at one time, so whoever's got the best.
Nicely said, Lennox Lewis. Let's bring in your fighter here, Constantino Nanga. What a moment! What a stage for you. Tell us how you're feeling about this, and a big Riyadh season show for you to showcase your skills on.
I mean, I feel great. I feel comfortable. I feel like I belong. I'm very happy, and for that, I would like to thank His Excellencies for the opportunity. And to the left of me, I got a legend, but also a good advisor. That obviously I have made the road to become an undisputed champion, to become a legend in the sport. So I think with his advice and following his road, I could be successful. I see myself as the champion.
Well, let's bring in your opponent, Brad Rea. Brad, up at light heavyweight now, and you've got a man here in Constantino Nanga, backed by Lennox Lewis. What's going on? What are you thinking about this fight?
Yeah, you know, I'm just grateful for this opportunity to be here. I feel like I've won some kind of competition being sat up here with everyone. But you know, I'm not here to make the numbers up. You know, I've been rebuilding myself over the past 2 years, fighting on the small hall circuit. You know, I've been begging for a big opportunity, for a big chance, and you know, this is my chance now. The phone rang on Wednesday night. You know, I didn't ask who, I didn't ask how much. I said yeah, and you know, this is my opportunity now to get my foot back in the door, and you know, plan on grabbing the bull by the horns.
How's this fight going to go, Brad? What do you reckon?
What's that?
How's it going to go?
How's it going to go? You know, with me getting my hand raised at the end of the night, that's all that matters. But, you know, I know His Excellency is a big boxing fan, and he likes entertaining fights. He likes knockouts, and, you know, with me, I'm not saying I'm as talented as some of the people up here, but, you know, I bring entertainment every single fight, no matter what, and, you know, I plan on putting on a show.
Best of luck to you, Brad Ray. Best of luck to you, Constantino Nanga, and great to see you, Lennox Lewis. Well, of course, the main event is for the undisputed World Light Heavyweight Championship, but there is another light heavyweight fight on this, fight for the right, really. Joshua Buatsi and Callum Smith, WBO Interim Light Heavyweight Championship on the line. They will be in line for the winner of Beterbiev and Bivol. Before we speak to the fighters, let's bring in Ben Shalom. Of course, you're alongside Joshua Buatsi there, backing your man to get the job done.
Yeah, thanks, Dev. First of all, thank you to His Excellency. It's phenomenal to be involved in a card like this. It truly is. For me, the best that I've ever seen. This fight means a lot to us. Josh Buatsi, we've seen him go through the entire domestic division. We've seen him pick up the WB interim belt. But he wants a full world title. This opportunity against Callum Smith allows him to prove that he's an elite level fighter. You have to be an elite level fighter to beat Callum Smith. It's a huge opportunity. It's a huge platform, and I expect Josh Buatsi to show why he's the next one in this division.
Okay, thank you, Ben. Let's bring in Callum Smith. Now, there was a kind of feeling that maybe after your fight with Beterbiev, maybe you were going to retire. You've done so much in the sport, super middleweight world champion. You've achieved so much, but it looks like there's still this fire burning in you, Callum. Talk to us.
Yeah, the fire's still there. Firstly, it's a pleasure to be here, pleasure to be part of. I've been fortunate throughout my career to be part of some amazing shows and some great events, but I think this one definitely tops the lot. But yeah, I always set myself goals, and I've been lucky throughout my career to achieve them all. But now I've set a goal of becoming a 2-weight world champion, and it's still not done. That's why I'm here. I believe I'm good enough to do it, and a win over Josh puts me one step closer to being there. So yeah, it's a good fight. It's a great fight. I respect Josh as a fighter, but he's got something that I want. He's a WBO interim world champion, and winning him and taking his belt puts me a little bit closer to where I want to be. So there's a lot at stake for me, and I always said it was the motivation. If something motivates me, then I get up, I'll go to the gym, and I give everything I have, and this fight definitely motivates me. So I believe I'll do everything I can in my power to make sure the best version of me steps through those rings on Feb 22nd, and I believe I'm good enough to get the job done.
Well, let's bring in Joshua Buatsi, and Joshua, you are the interim champion, and if you just turn behind you, there are full world light heavyweight titles. It's touching distance here. Give us an insight as to what's going on in the mind of Joshua Buatsi.
Yeah, so firstly, good evening to everyone. We appreciate you guys coming out. Want to thank His Excellency, my promoter, my team, for securing this fight. As you said, Dev, I'm touching distance away. I was asked to bring my interim belt, but I said, why would I do that when the real one's behind me? So I've got to get Smith out of the way, and that's all I'm fixated on.
Callum Smith has only lost to the very, very best, elite pound-for-pound stars, but you're confident you can do a job on him?
No doubt, Dev. Feb 22nd, I'll be there.
And Callum, final one for you. I mean, this is the younger man, this is the undefeated man, he's the interim champion. Where are your advantages? How do you beat Joshua Buatsi?
Yeah, I've always said this throughout my career, and regardless of the opponent I'm in with, I've just got to make sure the best version of me turns up on the night, and I believe I can beat anyone in the world. Like I said, I respect Josh, he's a good fighter, he's well-schooled, Olympic medalist, and now he's WBO interim world title champion, so he's got something that I need to get me closer to where I want to be. So I've just got to make sure the best version of me turns up, and I believe the best version of me can beat Josh Buatsi.
Okay, thank you, Callum. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Ben Shalom, as well. Best of luck. WBO interim light heavyweight championship on the line. Brilliant fight there between Joshua Buatsi and Callum Smith. Well, let's venture into the land of the giants, and what you'll notice is behind Alexander Usyk now, there's a bit of a queue forming for the belts that he has. Part of that queue is Gilles Big Bang Jang against Ajit Kabayel, WBC interim heavyweight championship on the line. I want to start with Ajit Kabayel. And Ajit, listen, I know you're not one for all of this trash talking and all of that kind of stuff, but once again, you're in against a monster. He's got big knockout power. What are you thinking? What are you going to do?
First about, thank you, My Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, my manager Spencer Brown, Queensbury Promotion for the opportunity. Yes, now I fight the next monster, I'm ready for the next challenge. I train hard for the fight. Let's go.
I've heard you say that you're going to test if he can swim. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, this guy have also very good power, I think this fight is very good. The winner from the fight can fight the world title shot, and yeah, we will see on 22 February.
Let's bring in the Big Bang, Gilles Zhang. I can actually see a red envelope in front of you. What is that? Talk to us.
他现在看到你手上有一个东西，这个是什么东西？
这个是马上到中国的新年了。我们中国的传统有一个就是发红包的一个习俗，然后今天这个红包，然后发给我的对手卡巴佑，然后祝他今年好运。
What's in front of me is a red envelope. Chinese New Year is coming. There's a tradition of giving red envelopes to people you like. This one goes to Mr. Kabayel. Wish him good luck.
Valentine's card. Good luck.
I don't know, Ajit, would you like to open it? Frank just said it's a Valentine's card. I don't know. You tell us. Could you open it and show us?
Wait, I will make open. Thank you for the nice picture, Zhang. Nice. It's the picture from Zhang. Thank you, brother.
A wonderful message, a wonderful gift from Zhang. You say you give that to people you like, but on February 22nd, you're not going to like that guy, right? What are you thinking about this fight?
2月22号你就不会再喜欢他了。这场比赛会以什么样的姿态展现在世人面前
？2月22号还有1个月的时间，然后这1个月的时间，我们会各自回到自己的阵营去刻苦的训练，可能说地狱般的训练。然后在2月22日在拳台上一决高下，到时候会让世界再次见证中国力量。
After the press conference, we're going to both go back to our camps and we're going to train as hell. 1 month later, we're going to meet in the ring and the whole world will see what Chinese power is all about.
Final thing for you, Gilles. I believe it's going to be Year of the Snake by the time this fight comes around. Does Zhang have the venom to become a world champion this year?
这是2025年是蛇年啊，蛇都会有毒液的。你会不会通过这蛇的这个毒液，让2025年成为你的风生水起的一年？
我不是特别喜欢蛇，这个蛇可以送给卡巴耶。我想我是一只老鹰，因为老鹰喜欢抓到猎物之后，然后飞到高空，然后把它摔下来。
I'm not a big fan of being a snake. Anyone, Mr. Kabayel, want to take that, be that, welcome. But I want to be an eagle. When the eagle sees a prey, it's going to grab it in the air and just drop it.
Thank you very much, Zhang. Ajit, I just wonder if you've got a response. He's going to be an eagle and grab you out of the air. What are your thoughts on that?
I say, you will see, inshallah. Everything what you make Allah, You can't talk, it's no problem, Monsters not fighting, only the hands fighting.
Great stuff. Thank you, Ajit Kabayel. Thank you, Gilles Big Bang Jang. Thank you, Kurt Lee, as well, for the translations. Brilliant stuff. Well, let's move to the middleweight division, where we've got a fantastic fight. WBC middleweight championship on the line. The champion, Carlos Adames, who unfortunately can't be with us today, takes on what could be the star of the division right now, certainly an emerging star in Hamza Sheeraz, who's making quite some noise in Riyadh season. And Hamza, this is what you've wanted. This is the world title fight. What are you thinking?
Yeah, first and foremost, I'd like to thank the Almighty Allah for allowing us all to be here today. I'd like to thank His Excellency for, continuously giving me the platforms. I'd like to thank Gold Star, Spencer for, all their support. And yeah, Dev, this is the opportunity. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If I'm not ready now, I don't think I'll ever be ready. Ever since 8 years old, being that young kid who always wanted to win that gold and green belt, February 22nd. It's a hard task. I'm under no illusion of what I've got in front of me, but I believe that I'm going to do the business, and come February 22nd, you'll have a new WBC middleweight champion of the world, inshallah.
You handed out the award at the Ring Magazine Awards the other night for the knockout of the year. For this year, could it be a Hamza Sheeraz winning the award rather than handing it out? Could that be against Carlos Adames?
Yeah, hopefully, because I don't want to keep handing them out, do you know what I mean? I'd like to win a few. But yeah, all I've got to do is keep working hard, keep doing my thing. I've always said it. Once I get the opportunities, once I get the platforms, I'll deliver.
Final one to you, Hamza. I know Artur Beterbiev is actually someone you look up to. You looked up to Anthony Joshua as well, and you're sharing bills with these guys that you look up to. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's like it's a pinch myself moment. Do you know what I mean? These are fighters growing up. You kind of keep watching, you kind of learn things off, and then the next thing you know, you're sitting on the table with them live in the flesh, and you're getting advice off them as well. So I'll always remain humble, and I'll always remain blessed, to say the least, Dev.
Thank you very much, Hamza Sheeraz. Best of luck to you February 22nd, challenging for the WBC World Middleweight Championship. Well, let's bring in another promoter who was a Hall of Fame fighter, one of the greatest fighters of all time, in Oscar De La Hoya. And Oscar, very much on promoting duty. You've got two brilliant unbeaten fighters in action on February 22nd. Floyd Schofield taking on Shakur Stevenson, and Virgil Ortiz against Israel Madrimov. That's throwing these guys right in the deep end, right?
Yeah, it is. It is, and I always think like a fighter first, and you know, to be great, you have to fight great fighters. You have to fight the very best. Given said that, I wanna thank all the fighters here first, and they do deserve a round of applause, because for making these types of fights, putting these fights together. There's one thing about getting promoters in one room. There's one thing about getting promoters to work together, but to get every single fighter here to agree to these types of fights, on paper, these are 50-50 fights. I mean, Shakur Stevenson, he's one of the best fighters on the planet, facing one of the top fighters coming up on the planet. So that shows you greatness. He wants to be great. He wants to be the very best. Virgil Ortiz, once again, is proving that he is the very best. Fighting Madrimov after fighting Boacek, I mean, who does that? So every single fighter here, congratulations for having the courage and for having the cojones to take these types of fights.
Final one to you, Oscar. It's also a little glimpse of a Golden Boy versus Matchroom going on here. A couple of Eddie Hearn fighters, couple of Oscar fighters. You must really want to win, right?
Absolutely. Look, we as promoters always want our fighters to win. But more importantly, we want to give the fight fans the best fights. And this card right here, it actually reminds me of the great Don King putting on Mike Tyson, Julio Cesar Chavez, Felix Trinidad, Terry Norris, all on one card. This is what we're living today, thanks to Turki Al-Sheikh, thanks to Eddie Hearn, thanks to everyone here involved. It's just phenomenal. It's incredible what's happening to boxing. We must enjoy it. We must take advantage of it, because boxing is back.
Very much so. Nicely said, Oscar De La Hoya. Floyd Schofield, unfortunately, isn't here today, but the champion, Shakur Stevenson, the unbeaten WBC World Lightweight Champion, is here. And Shakur, I mean, this guy, Floyd Schofield, he's been calling you out. Not a lot of people call you out, but he has. Has he made a bit of a mistake?
Yeah, he definitely made a mistake. He's a good young fighter, hungry fighter, but I hope he still take the fight. I mean, I'm kind of worried because he's not here. I was kind of excited to see him.
Do you have a message for him? Because I'm sure he'll be watching somewhere.
Don't get butterflies and pull out the fight, Floyd. I know it's a hard time. I know you're dealing with a lot, but just show up.
You've been tweeting about beating on him. You've been tweeting about vintage Shakur. What does that look like February 22nd?
It looked like me coming there and put on my offensive bag, you know, let my hands go, beating guys up, and that's what I'm coming to do come February 22nd.
Great stuff. Thank you, Shakur Stevenson. Hopefully we'll see you actually face off with Floyd very soon. Best of luck.
Appreciate it.
To you. Okay, let's go to the super welterweight division. A brilliant fight here between unbeaten rising star Virgil Ortiz taking on former world champion Israel Madrimov. I'm going to start with Israel Madrimov, and a lot of people felt that Virgil Ortiz was going to fight Boots Ennis, but it's you. Are you surprised that he has picked you?
Многие ожидали боя с Бутс Эннисом, Ортизом. Он бой с тобой. Ты удивлен? Ты ожидал этого?
Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. First of all, I'm happy to be here. For me, it's big chance. Thank you, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, my promotion, Mushroom Boxing, and world of boxing. Я рад просто, что я здесь и буду участвовать на таком ивенте, карте, и буду показать хороший бой, иншаллах.
I'm just happy to be here, and it's a huge event, huge card, and I'm looking forward to it. We'll try to do my best in this fight. It's one of the most important fights in my life.
And finally, he is a young, hungry fighter. How do you plan on dealing with him on February 22nd?
I want to show great fight, all boxing fans, and show, inshallah, my skill.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Israel Madrimov. Let's bring in Virgil Ortiz. Virgil, I was on your Instagram the other day, and you said you want all the smoke against all the best fighters in the world. And Virgil, it sounds like Israel Madrimov has a lot of smoke, and he's one of the best fighters in the world. You looking forward to this challenge?
Oh yeah, of course. You know, I welcome any challenge. First of all, thank Turkey Al-Sheikh, my golden boy promoter himself right here, my dad, my team. I'm very grateful to be on this card, the last Crescendo. I don't even know what that means. I'm gonna have to Google that after this, but yeah, I'm very honored to be on here, and we want to fight the best. I don't care who it is. You know, we went from Bohachuk, we were gonna fight Boots, that fell through. Now we're fighting Madrimov. I think I just want to be a throwback fighter. You know, like those fighters that we used to watch on HBO boxing. Those are the times right there. You know, I want to be those HBO classic fights. That's the goal.
Well, you were in a classic fight last time out. It was a Ring Magazine Fight of the Year nominee against Sergey Bohachuk. Do you think this is another classic fight, or can you actually just get him out of there pretty quick? What do you think?
No, this is going to be a classic fight for sure. You know, I feel like this fight has the potential to steal the night, and I'm very excited for it. I'm very motivated. You know, Madrimov is an elite fighter, and I'm excited to share the ring with him.
You've sparred before as well, right? What can you tell me about that? Did you learn much?
Yeah, I learned a lot. I'm sure he did too. And that's from what I'm saying is I know it's going to be a really fan-friendly fight.
Do you have a message for Israel Madrimov?
No.
Okay, and I would imagine Israel Madrimov probably doesn't have one for you, but a brilliant fight coming up in the super welterweight division. We look forward to that. Let's head to a brilliant, incredible World Heavyweight Championship contest. Daniel Dubois defending his IBF belt against Joseph Parker. Two momentum heavyweights, two in-form heavyweights. And Joseph Parker, I'll start with you because this is the opportunity for you to become a two-time World Heavyweight Champion. What are you thinking?
Just want to say first it's incredible to be involved in such a great card and a great event. And thanks to His Excellency, to my team, Spencer Brown sitting on my right, David Higgins, Andy Lee, George Lockhart, and Uncle Frank, for the work we've done to lock in this fight, but also the work we've done in camp so far. I'm very excited to be fighting for the championship of the world for the second time. Two-time world champion sounds beautiful.
After the Fury-Usyk fight, Daniel Dubois caused a bit of a stir. He got in the ring and he challenged Alexander Usyk whilst having a fight scheduled with Joseph Parker. What was going through your head as that happened?
Ask him what was going through his head when he was doing that.
Daniel, what was going through your head when you challenged Usyk, considering you had a fight with Joe Parker? Joe wants to know.
It's all about making noise. This is show business, so that's who I want next. First, I've got to get through this guy.
So that was about making noise. That's not you overlooking Joe Parker.
No way. I'm going to do a demolition job on him first, and then I want Usyk next. I'm ready for it, and I'm on a roll, so, you know, bring him on.
He might be looking too far ahead, planning big fights, other big fights, but you got to fight right in front of you right now.
No, ask him. I got my mind firmly set on you.
They
You're
better
the
be.
next man. Hey?
They better be.
Why do you beat Joe Parker?
Why? I'm just on a roll. I feel like, you know, I'll be just too much for him, too strong, too fast. Everything he does, I'm going to do better. And, yeah, I'm confident, man. I ain't got to say too much. I don't do too much talking. So, you know, just let the fans tune in. It's going to be a great fight.
Listen, I've been boxing for a while, and I feel like I've only just begun now. I feel like I've got everything right now, and you're in for a treat.
Good. I'll teach you a few things in there, you know. If you just started, I'll teach you a new few lessons, some new skills.
Looking forward to it.
I'm ready to go.
Looking forward to it, Div.
Hey?
Looking forward to it. Bring it on.
Daniel, just while I've got you, because you are talking a bit, let me ask you this. You said you're not buying the nice guy act of Joe Parker. Do you think he's trying to lure you into a bit of a false security? What's going on?
He's always been like that, isn't it? A nice guy act. But I know once the bell goes, we're going to try and take each other's heads off. So, you know, I'm just in my bubble, my own circle.
Joe?
Listen, I like it that he's full of confidence. He's sky high at the moment, but it's all going to stop on the 22nd of February.
Thank you very much. Good chat. Final thing, actually, Joe Parker. Do you have a message for Daniel Dubois?
Let's go.
Any message back, Daniel?
No.
Yeah. I was trying. Look, we did all right there, actually. Thank you very much, Daniel. Thank you very much, Joseph Parker. IBF World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Brilliant heavyweight title fight. Well, let's move to the main event. Listen, history was made back in October. Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol, the undisputed World Light Heavyweight Championship. It was a brilliant fight. It was a close fight. It was a fight where some feel Beterbiev won, some feel Bivol won. Let's speak to a man who felt that Dmitry Bivol won. Vadim Kornilov, you were particularly vocal after the first fight in the post-fight press conference. You didn't seem particularly happy with the result. Of course, it went against your man. Rematch coming up. Give us your reflections. Give us your thoughts.
It was a very close fight, you know, and nothing to take away from Artur Beterbiev. I mean, he did a really, really good job, and there's no doubt that the fight was close. I was more upset about one of the decisions. One of the judges seemed to me completely off, and that was more upsetting. But more importantly, what kind of crossed that situation out and made everybody feel a lot better is when the next day, you know, before that actually, Israel Madrimov fought in Saudi Arabia in the kingdom, and there was a lot of effort made from Eddie and Spencer, as far as I know, in getting Madrimov on one of the cards, and Madrimov became a world champion on the card. And His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh offered after that fight for Madrimov to fight Terence Crawford, and it didn't. At that time, it didn't seem like the right move because the kid just became a champion. It was the dream of his life. He just earned what he dreamt of, and obviously fighting the best in the world, somebody that he looked up to, was probably a little bit too early at that time. But when he came out of the fight, and it was also a very close fight, His Excellency and his team said that, you know, it was a close fight. You might have won the fight, but don't worry, you'll be back. And he was supposed to fight, I think, 2 months after that, on the Fury Usyk card. You know, that didn't occur. Now he's fighting in a much bigger fight than that. Same with Dmitry. You know, after this fight, the next day, His Excellency said that he wanted a rematch. And after the first experience, I didn't have any doubts. I knew that once he wants something and he wants justice to be served, he makes it happen. And now we're here. It doesn't matter anymore what happened in that fight on October 12th. It doesn't matter what the judges did, because now is an opportunity for every boxer to make a point and prove that they're the undisputed champion in the light heavyweight division.
Thank you very much, Vadim Kornilov. Let's speak to a man who certainly feels that Artur Beterbiev won. From the top-ranked side of things, Brad Jacobs. And I want to get your thoughts also on what Eddie Hearn said a little while ago, probably about 2 hours ago now, what he said at the start about how he felt everyone knew that Bivol won. Give us your thoughts, please, Brad.
Well, I think he said everyone thinks they knew who won, and it was Beterbiev, not Bivol. But that's beside the point. Well, look, we're thrilled to be here, thrilled to be a part of another Riyadh season event, all thanks to His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. Artur Beterbiev, undisputed champion. He deserves it. He'll be undisputed champion again by knockout or by decision. We're just thrilled to be a part of it. And once again, Artur Beterbiev, undisputed, undefeated, and that will remain that way.
Thank you, Brad. Let's bring in the challenger. And that's what you are now, Dimitri Bivol. Listen, when you look across the table and you see all of those belts there, every belt in the light heavyweight division, tell us what's going through your head.
First of all, hello everybody, and I want to say thank you to Turki Al-Sheikh for making this fight happen again, and this is good chance for me, and I know people like first fight and they want to see second fight, and also I want to make second fight and I want to be winner of this fight. What about belts now, which I could see? Before I was so wanted to have this belt and nothing else. But today I want not only just belts. I wanna revenge. I wanna fix what I did before. I wanna win, not just belts. It's not only about belts now.
How much do you need to change from the first fight? Do you need to change a little bit? Nothing? A lot? What do you think?
I need to change enough to prove that I'm better, and I need to add more actions, and we already changed a little bit with our training camp. We add some coach in our training camp, and now I'm working on myself. Of course, I want to be better. I want to be perfect, and I'm trying to be.
Well, let's bring in the defending champion, the undisputed light heavyweight champion, Artur Beterbiev, with belts everywhere. Firstly, Artur, what does it feel like to be the champion?
Can you repeat it? Didn't. Yeah. It's a good feeling. Hello, everyone. I want to thank you for His Excellency, for my top rank, for everyone here. My goal is now to keep my belts, and I will do my best to do that.
Dimitri Bivol says he wants revenge. What do you think when you hear that?
We have revenge. If you want revenge, no problem.
What?
How different do you need to be on February 22nd? Do you need to be much better, a little better, or the same? What do you think?
For enough better to win. Just to enough to win, you know. I don't know how is it, like high, small, big, medium. I don't know yet, but enough to win, you know.
You usually knock everyone out. No one usually hears the final bell, but he did. Why?
I don't know, because maybe he is luck that night. Because he is luck maybe that night.
Dimitri, let me bring you in here. Did you get lucky to not get knocked out against Artur Beterbiev?
You know, I don't believe too much in lucky. I think luck will come to people who work a lot. And I work on it, and I become lucky. Like, the luck will not come without work.
Dimitri, what is your message to Artur Beterbiev ahead of your rematch on February 22nd? Please look at him and tell him.
I don't have any messages. I'm not a postman. You know, I'm an athlete. I will come to the ring and we will talk by action.
It's a pretty good line, that. Artur Beterbiev, do you have a message for Dmitry Bivol?
You mean I'm postman? No. I think 22nd February we're going to see a good fight. And my message is be ready. That's it. Nothing more.
Thank you very much, Artur Beterbiev. Thank you, Dmitry Bivol. Thank you to everyone at this top table, these two top tables. And speaking about postmen, really, Riyadh season is the one that keeps on delivering and does so again February 22nd. We're going to get some face-offs here down the front. Thank you.
So that concludes proceedings for the press conference. Well played, Dev. Not an easy task having so many people up on those top two tables, and we heard from absolutely everybody. They're men of relatively few words, Beterbiev and Bivol, so not surprising that we didn't manage to extract too much from them. Dubois and Parker threatened to spark at times, and he raised it there, Devon. He's right too, Matt. The fact that Daniel Dubois stormed the ring after Usyk beat Fury and looked to try and make that fight the rematch after the first one they had in Poland. And he did that even though he's got a fight scheduled against Joseph Parker. And if you're Parker, that's going to wind you up, isn't it, I think?
Definitely. Without any shadow of a doubt, Parker would have thought, you're on about a fight with Usyk, and you're going to get. So you're assuming you're just going to walk through me and beat me, and you're not giving me the respect I deserve. I mean, how else can you take it?
No, absolutely, Johnny. We were talking about Dubois briefly before we went to the press conference there, and we've seen him kind of flourish over the course of Riyadh season, haven't we? Because he got that win against Jarrell Miller, then a massive win against Hrgovic, and then he beat Anthony Joshua. But it's not just inside the ring, outside of the ring, he seems relaxed. He's a bit goofy at times. Sometimes he doesn't really look like he's paying attention, but the confidence is there now off the back of those wins.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's very unassuming, his confidence as well, because he's always spoke like this, but we've just not believed him. Now he's getting results. Now we're believing in that confidence. Is it confidence or is it naivety? We don't know, but whatever it is, it's working for him, and it slips. The puzzles fit the puzzle, and he's getting the job done. So now going in and believing in himself even more makes him an even more dangerous fighter, because he's very, in the nicest possible way, very simple in regards to how he looks at things, very black and white. So that is the right attitude to have in going in against someone like Josie Parker that knows almost every trick in the book. He can survive, he can box, he's been in with champions, he can punch, and he can try and hustle his way around the ring. So I think there's probably a lot more armory to what he has than what Daniel has in comparison.
So the fighters just lining up on either side of the stage. They'll be called to the middle before too long. I thought for a second there we might get one, a face-off, a head-to-head there between Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn there. They're absolutely in position for it, aren't they, when you look up at the stage? And I'd be keen on that. We might have a kind of Usyk Fury rerun of that 11 minute 13 second stare down that we saw.
That's another matchup they've overcooked. They've marinated too long. They're friends now. We needed this a few years back when there was plenty of spite and needle in there.
Oh, it's still there. It's still there, trust me, it's still there.
They can pull those masks off.
Just needs the flip of a coin, and it's still there.
Well, you've got so many big hitters at that table promotion. The Oscar De La Hoya just lurking in the background there, the golden boy. And what I find so entertaining about Oscar is the fact that he's invincible, isn't he, when it comes to talking about boxing. He can say whatever he wants because he went there and he did it. When it comes to taking 50-50 fights, taking the hardest fights and proving himself against the best, that's exactly what he did. So I thought that was nice of him to say, to really pay tribute to all of the fighters on the card. Yes, we know they're getting paid well, but there's always a way of swerving things if you want to. The 50-50 fights is what the sport has always needed, and that's what this card is.
Oscar De La Hoya, he vocalised it really well, and this is what our sport has always needed. And if you wanna build where they're 50-50 fights, you don't know if the red corner's going to win, and you don't know if the blue corner's going to win. That creates debate. That creates great shows. And again, looking at this, I'm an ex-fighter. I know this is a good show. No, it's not a good show. It's a great show. because looking at him, even down the card, you look at Buatsi and Smith, great fight here. And so again, the 50-50 fights, now we're at that stage, and Riyadh season has given him, so you've got to give respect where respect is due.
So this is Mohamed Alakal. We've seen him a couple of times. He's trained by Joe Gallagher, a Saudi fighter. His opponent isn't here, so just posing for a few photos quickly himself. Same story for Ziad Al-Mayouf, who's striding up now. His opponent isn't here either. We've seen Zizou since what feels like way back now, to be honest, since the start of this whole adventure, trained by Buddy McGirt. He's a very, very entertaining fighter. Does tend to get drawn into the kind of contest that maybe Buddy wouldn't really want him to, and what you certainly cannot question is his minerals. It'll just be interesting to see if he can just improve that skill set, just work on that composure maybe a little bit under fire, to not allow himself to get pulled into the kind of contest where it's great for us to watch, but it's maybe not the best thing for him. Hamza Sheeraz's opponent, Carlos Adames, hasn't made the trip over either. And we've seen Sheeraz a lot over the course of Riyadh season as well. I'd say he absolutely is ready. He had that big win at Wembley against Tyler Denny. He's training over in America. He has been for a while. And Matt, we've liked what we've seen of him, and he makes a lot of sense outside the ring too. He's a very clear thinking individual.
Yeah, and he's got that bit of star quality as well, which I think the middleweight division, you know, it's not been as strong as it's been pretty weak really recently in recent times, but he's the sort of fighter and personality that's got the charisma to really sort of give it a shot in the arm that it needs if he was to win on February 22nd. Tough fight, but he's really confident.
Shakur Stevenson will defend his WBC lightweight title against Floyd Schofield. Schofield, as Shakur mentioned, isn't here tonight either. That belt over his shoulder. And you look at someone like Stevenson, Johnny, and it just seemed as certain as it ever is that he would just do great things, because he did everything as a youth in the amateurs, slipstreamed into an Olympic Games, silver medal, cried live on TV because he couldn't beat Robeisy Ramirez, which was a big ask, straight into the pros, and he's absolutely flying, but you do always feel like there's more to come from him.
Without a doubt, and you know what, at different weight divisions, because this young man is so talented, and it looks like he's so fresh, even though the fights that he's been in already. You've just got the talent right for you. So for me and for the fans to see him in action, you know, it's a plus. He's here in the UK, you know, so these fights aren't the fights we're just seeing overseas on TV. He's here in the UK and he's thinking, look, I want to build my fan base all over the world.
And this is the kind of matchup I absolutely love. We've seen a few of these on these cards. A fighter makes his way on, and you know that he could never have imagined this would happen. I'm talking about Brad Ray on the right-hand side there, more than Constantino Nanga, because we know Brad a little bit better. A week ago, he wouldn't have thought he'd be standing here with Lennox Lewis standing to his right-hand side. It really is the stuff that dreams are made of. He's been in a rebuild since a defeat to Tyler Denny. He's moved up from middleweight all the way to light heavy. Constantino Nanga is undefeated at 12-0, and things have happened very quickly for him too. And as we know, Matt, it generally tends to be winner stays on. If you put in a good performance here, then you just never know what can happen.
No, exactly. And he said up there, I might not be the best fighter in the world, but every time I fight, I bring excitement, I bring knockouts, and he does.
And this is a fantastic fight. It really is. Joshua Buatsi against Callum Smith. Joshua Buatsi turned over with a lot of expectation after Rio. You could say maybe, Johnny, that Buatsi's career has been a slightly slow burn. The fact that he hasn't managed to get a world title fight is largely due to the two people top of the bill here in Beterbiev and Bivol. Callum Smith did a lot as a super middleweight, and then we saw him against Beterbiev, and it was a torrid night. And what you wonder with Callum is what's left after an evening like that.
So for Buatsi, we say his career's had a slow burn. We seem to be left frustrated because you know, or you think there's talent there. We've just not seen him perform and think, wow, you know, on a higher scale level. You look at Smith, we know what he's about. And I tell you one thing, in this fight here with these two here, they both got to bring their A game. Now, Callum Smith might not be the fighter he was, but the fighter he is will bring the best out of Joshua Buatsi, because if Joshua Buatsi has a lackadaisical performance, he's going to get turned over. So to me, I think it's a good fight.
As is this heavyweight contest for an interim world title. Zhilei Zhang on the left there, Agit Kabayel on the right, Kabayel, again, who has turned his career around, really. He was in the doldrums a bit through no fault of his own, and then Saudi Arabia came calling. He got a big win against Arsenal Makhmudov. He was written off that night, and then he followed it up with a win against Frank Sanchez. Jang, 2 massive wins against Joe Joyce over here, got him the opportunity against Joseph Parker. He lost that night, but he went straight back in with Deontay Wilder and won by knockout. And there's a lot to like about that fight at heavyweight, as there is this one at super welter. Virgil Ortiz and Israel Madrimov. Ortiz was in that tremendous fight against Sergey Bohachuk that we saw on our last card. Madrimov with the win against Kurbanov, and then got in there with Terence Crawford that gave him a very, very hard fight. This just looks like a really good fight, Matt, whichever way you look at it.
Yeah, you look at the card, this is one of the ones I'm most excited about. Madrimov's so strong, such a physical specimen, and of course Ortiz, you know, one time was the biggest prospect in world boxing. He's not a prospect anymore. This is a proper fight.
He's had problems with weight, Ortiz, with maintaining his health basically whilst making weight, hence he had to move up from welterweight to super welterweight. Madrimov has always been a super welterweight. I remember seeing him in the amateurs for Uzbekistan at 75 kilos. Maybe that could be a difference between the two. Physically, Madrimov is just a rock solid 11-stone fighter.
Yeah, and if Ortiz is struggling in any way, shape or form, or he's cut corners in there against a solid Madrimov will chop him down, absolutely chop him down, and it's another good 50-50 fight.
As is this. Both of these two have been on a Riyadh season roll. Dubois had plenty of questions to answer when he took on Jarrell Miller. He got the win, then he beat Filip Hrgovic, and then that night at Wembley in September was utterly sensational. One knockout of the year at the Ring Magazine Awards on Saturday. Parker, we saw clean out Simon Keane, then get in with Deontay Wilder. Everybody wrote him off, boxed superbly to get the win. Then he was in with Zhang. Same thing, people thought the power of the big Chinese fighter would be too much for him, and he proved otherwise. Hearing him talk in recent times, he seems to have concentrated quite a lot on increasing his own physicality, his own punching power. It's something he's been stressing, which I find that quite interesting.
Yeah, I think he's in his peak right now, really coming into his prime. Joseph Parker, he's had that loss early doors with Anthony Joshua, but I think he's a much better fighter now, the version of himself that fought AJ, and of course Daniel Dubois. You know, he's bouncing in off the best performance of his career. The two of them are really on a roll in terms of momentum coming into this fight.
Absolutely. It's so well matched, that fight in particular. I'll just give over to Michael Buffer for a second.
Future Hall of Fame promoters, future Hall of Fame players, it's a great night of boxing. And when you just look at those names up there, and you think about all these fights that are going to happen in one night, when you hear it, that it's just, you think it's perhaps just PR and publicity, the greatest card ever, it possibly really is the best top to bottom card a fight fan, a promoter, a pundit could ever dream of. So let's go to our face-off for the main event, ladies and gentlemen. On the line, all the belts, including the prestigious Ring Magazine title belt and special recognition with the undisputed light heavyweight world championship belt, which will be displayed and presented here this evening by the CEO of the General Entertainment Authority, Faisal Bafarat. So let's bring the fighters to the center, and our photograph will be for the face-off. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, looking for revenge, the former champion, only one loss on his outstanding record. He's seeking revenge, no doubt about it. Please welcome Dmitry Bivol. And his opponent, seeking validation to show that he is truly the reigning and defending light heavyweight world champion. Ladies and gentlemen, universally recognized as the undisputed champion, Artur Beterbiev.
It was a fantastic fight in mid-October, it really was, and for me this fight has been the jewel in the crown of Riyadh season since it started. Yes, we've had undisputed at heavyweight, but the reason I like this one so much, Johnny, is because without Riyadh's season, this would never have happened because it just could never have paid for itself, and we wouldn't have seen it.
And this is why events like Riyadh's season are good for our sport. If you're a lover of our sport, these schools, and the other thing I commend about it, the fact how quick they turn it around. Sometimes a fighter will lose to fighter A or lose to fighter B, and it'll be another year before the rematch is taking place. This fight has been turned around, so the fans have still got the fans' memory, attention, interest, intrigue. It's not like one fight has gone all overnight. So timing perfect, opportunity perfect, fight perfect. You've got two hitmen looking at each other there, and it's not like one shot. I think the result will change. I think it'll be the other way around, it'll be 1-1. But I'm telling you now, this is such a top tier fight.
Well, 1-1 would set up a trilogy, which I think everybody would want to see. And you're right, there's no malice in either of these two, Matt, but there's no mercy either. They are ice cold. It's not personal, but they're in each other's way, and that's all there is to it.
Listen, going into the last fight, I picked Beterbiev. I had it a draw. I think Bivol will win this one.
It's intense between these two. They've got full respect for each other. And when we spoke to them in Fight Week last time, neither would make towering predictions. They both just said, listen, at this level of the sport, when you're in against somebody that good, you prepare as best you can, the bell goes, and whatever happens is whatever happens. This has just gone on a bit too long now for either one of them to pull out. We saw this in Riyadh between Usyk and Fury. Once you get past about 30, 40 seconds, certainly once you get past a minute, then you've got a bit of a problem because, well, they step apart. But I wondered there whether that might go on for quite some time because, as I say, you get past a certain reading on the clock whereby it's deep then and nobody wants to look away first, but thankfully we don't have a repeat of that on our hands.
It's always like, this doesn't mean anything, but now it does.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It's not important until it is. Okay, I just turned around a second ago and found myself looking at Gilet Big Bang Jang, a very amiable gentleman. Gilet, great to see you. Thanks for coming and joining us. We noticed there that you gave a New Year's greetings card to Agit Kabayel, and one thing we've noticed about you is that you like to keep things quite light and humorous in the build-up to fights.
你给了他一个红包作为新年的礼物，是不是？大家觉得你一直特别的友好，是不是这样的？
在台下的时间我们都是很友好的，然后这就是拳击的魅力。在场上的时间，我们两个可能是相互的厮杀，但是在台下我们可能说就是朋友。
This is the good thing about boxing. In the ring, you just want to kill each other, but outside of the ring, can be friends, gentlemen sport.
In terms of Agit Kabayel, he's had 2 big wins on Riyadh season cards. He's maybe not a fighter that he would have imagined he would have been fighting without Riyadh season.
当时有没有想到过？以前有没有想到过曾经的对手会是卡巴耶尔呢？
以前想过，但是没有想那么快会促成，因为之前打完维尔德之后，然后我们就一直在考虑这个问题，然后到最后他是和巴克雷，然后他们两个要打，但是到最后他有竞标的话，然后卡贝尔退出，然后当时说让我和巴克雷打，但是巴克雷那边一直没有消息，也没有给我发合同，但是卡巴耶尔给我发合同，然后我们就促成这场比赛。
Well, he has been on my radar since I beat Deontay Wilder. I paying attention to him. And there are rumors saying that I was going to fight Bacoli, I was going to fight Kabayel, they're going to fight each other. But at the end of the day, there's a contract on the table for me to sign fighting Kabayel. That's how everything comes.
I just wonder, what was the reaction like in China to your win against Deontay Wilder? Because there is a real appetite for boxing in China, and that was a huge win.
对于你赢了维尔德这场比赛，中国的拳迷是怎么看的？
中国的拳迷很兴奋，很多拳迷也没有预想到，一个中国的拳手能够打一个世界顶尖的一个拳手，但是还能到最后还把维尔德击倒，所以说这给中国的拳迷 真的很兴奋。
Yeah, I think it excites a lot of people. Nobody has ever imagined that a Chinese guy can come here and hang with the top guys and to beat Deontay Wilder. It's like a dream come true. Everybody in China is really excited about it.
Okay, well, thanks very much for coming over. Best of luck for the rest of the camp, and we look forward to seeing you in February.
谢谢，祝你训练营好运。
Thank you.
Zhang, the Big Bang, Chinese power in action against Agit Kabayel on February the 22nd. The second heavyweight fight on the card, and it's a mouth-watering prospect. And as he said there, it's a gentleman's sport, boxing. There's no need to fall out in the build-up, and then you just try and take each other's heads off when the bell goes. And that's exactly what Dubois said about his fight with Joseph Parker. It's something that those of us who haven't done it, don't do it, never will do it, can sometimes find it a bit difficult to understand, but it really isn't, except in some occasions. It really isn't a personal thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's, look, you know, look, when the needle is legit, we all love it, don't we? But at the same time, I like to see the two of them go in there, show massive respect. Because a lot of the time, the ones where they're most respectful, they actually knock lumps out of each other even more when it gets in there. And sometimes ones that give it loads beforehand, slam empty cans, making noise, isn't it? And actually, the fight comes about, and we feel disappointed, let down, because it didn't live up to expectations. Where guys are respectful and gentlemanly about it, like Jang and Parker and these guys. But when they get in there, they're warriors and they exceed expectations.
As someone like Jang, Johnny, he's a good example of what can happen if you're not afraid of defeat, essentially, because he took that fight against Filip Hrgovic, which a lot of people thought he certainly did enough where he could have got the decision. He didn't get it. Joe Joyce gave him a fight. He knocked Joe Joyce out twice. At that point, Joyce was seen as this kind of immovable object. Then he took the fight against Parker, got beaten, was absolutely fuming, went straight back in against Wilder and got the win. So in his last 5 fights, he's won 3, lost 2. But look where he is, because he's willing to take chances.
The example is if you lived a life. You lived a life, and when I say lived a life, when you've had a fight, I'm not talking about, right, I'm going to shoot off and just rest and do nothing for 6 months, because you might get away with it when you come back after 6 months and win the fight. It catches up on you years down the line. Look at Zhang, look at the size of him, look at his age, you look at what he's doing and succeeding at this level now. So now he's someone to contend with, someone to think, you know what, I've got to be on point with this guy here. Because if I don't, I'm either getting knocked out because he's not giving up, and he wants to represent as well. So it's the attitude that's playing right for him.
No, also the loss to Parker was a close fight. I mean, I didn't think Parker won it, but it was close. Do you know what I mean? And you know, if Man City lose in a close match against Liverpool, are they a bad team? They're not, are they? You lost a close fight to another top fighter. You just had 12 really competitive rounds. You want to use that and get back out there ASAP into another top level fight. And if you win, you're back up there.
Absolutely. Let's go back to Hamza Sheeraz. We spoke to him, spoke about him during the head-to-heads and briefly during the course of the press conference. I'm interested in his move to the United States, because you've both done that, in that you've both moved away from home to improve yourselves. You went to America, so you know what the hard gyms are like over there. You took endless sparring gigs in the old East Germany, which was no picnic. And he's spoken a lot about how he felt he needed to do that. He had to get out of his comfort zone and get over to a place where no one cared about his reputation. In fact, they looked at him and just thought, listen, we're going to fresh meat. We're going to teach you a lesson.
I'm telling you now, young fighters coming through. If you want an education in boxing to understand when the bell goes, you are the fully fledged fighter you are. This is what they must do. But fighters don't do it. They don't want to do it. They don't want to be taken out of the comfort zone. They might dip their toe in the odd sparring session to go X, Y, Z every now and again. You lived a life. It was the difference between being a loser and a world champion for me. So I know that life works. And when you've been around and sparred with the best all over the world, it does nothing but boost your confidence to think, I've been in with everybody and anybody. So just to go in there and go through the motions is not enough. You've got to be steeped in qualifications to get this job done. And that's what Hamza Sheeraz has done. And that's why he comes on with a really cool demeanour about it, to say, I know what I've got to do and I know what I'm capable of doing.
Everybody says, Matt, that those American gyms, especially if you go over there as a Brit, Andy Lee, who was just chatting to us briefly off camera a few minutes ago, tells a great story about turning up at the Kronk on the first day and Cornelius Bundridge seeing him, this tall very white European fighter coming into the gym and literally screaming fresh meat. And it's open season, isn't it? And Hamza Sheeraz has experienced that.
Yeah, it's different, man. It is like that. It's a lot rougher and tougher. I don't think they're spars really. They're fights with 16-ounce gloves on, and it builds a lot of character, a lot of internal fortitude, because you go in the gym and you got butterflies. You know, it's not your gym where you go and you know everyone. And it's like a gym mate that you're moving with. You go in there, you don't even know who you're sparring. You're trying to eye people up. Is he my weight? Whatever. Who's he? And then you suddenly recognise a face, and it's like a world champion. But it is dog eat dog, and it is, like I say, you're having a fight with 16-ounce gloves on, and it definitely builds that mental fortitude and the loneliness after any bad day.
That's what I'm saying. Especially if you go away as your sparring partner, it's like preparing for a fight every single day, because you know for a fight your job is there to either get beaten up or shot from someone else's tool. You got to survive and give better than they give, and that it matures you as a fighter, gives yourself confidence as a fighter. Thing I've done this with everybody, especially when you're going in with somebody that's probably more qualified than your world champion, the European champion, or whatever. If you do that, and you can do that, then when it's time to fight, it grows you as a fighter. And most of these top fighters down the line, they'll say, I did that. I did it undercover.
And they'll all go away now and get into deep training. They will already have started. It'd be interesting to know exactly where Beterbiev and Bivol are in that regard, because they're the kinds of fighters who stay ready, stay fit. Beterbiev, I've never seen him look anything other than how he looks every time you see him during fight week, so they might have needed a good rest, and they might not have done too much up until this point, but anyway, that's by the by. Everybody will get into training, and between now and then, it's about putting that preparation in. And people always talk about having a good camp and how important it is to have a good camp. Physically, you have to do all the work, but it's just as big a part of it the fact that if you feel like it's gone well and you've done everything that you should have done, that mentally you can keep those doubts that you're always going to have under control.
Every fighter on that stage there did not want to be here today, because their fight is in less than 5-6 weeks down the line. The last thing they want to do is fly to England and interrupt their training session, but they've had to do it. So everybody's on an even keel, and so now they understand this is such a big show, a big 50-50 at 55. Everybody will go back and they'll be bang straight on it again. This will motivate them to say, right, I've had a couple of days off, I had to do the Ring magazine dinner on the weekend, I've come here, I want to get home, I want to get down to business.
With regard to Beterbiev and Bivol, Matt, it's 4 months, so let's say I don't know how many weeks it'll be exactly, but let's say it's 17, it'll be something like that. How long do you think they both would have taken out of the ring, given that they knew almost straight away that the rematch was going to happen? You've got to get the date, obviously, but once they've got that date, they would have needed some time to recover from that fight. It's not like either one finished the fight really bashed up. It's not like either one looked like they were unravelling at any point, although we got torrid for Bivol towards the end. But that was mentally and physically a very hard fight.
Yeah, and also the training beforehand. So they would have needed a good rest after that fight. Like I say, physically, mentally, emotionally. I don't know. I would say a month, maybe 6 weeks. Might have done a little bit of light training in that time, but I think they would have had a good rest, knowing that they've got time to, do a little sort of like pre-camp before Christmas, maybe get some base fitness in, have a little rest over the Christmas New Year, and then hit the ground running.
Yeah, straight after the last fight, training wouldn't have been their priority, but it is a priority. So then it switches from fight mode, and when you're into fight mode, training is a priority. So they will have gone to the gym. They may have done an hour, they may have done half an hour, they may have just shadow boxed, done light work, just to make sure they're not rinsing out the body movement, and that's what they would have done. And then when it comes to fight time, then you step up to fight training. So I think fighters that manage to disappear at the gym for weeks on end after fight, it baffles me, absolutely baffles me how they would expect successful results down the line if you're doing that. And I think Beterbiev and Bivol aren't those guys. They're not those guys. Beterbiev, he fasts fight week for 36 hours. This guy, he understands his body, what he's capable of doing. At the age he's at, he knows what he has to do.
It was great last fight week, actually, going to watch him train at about midnight. It was midweek at the Mike Tyson gym, and there was no music, There was no bells, no whistles, just him getting down to work and doing the kind of routines he's been doing his entire life. He was completely and utterly relaxed, and it was kind of quite eerie, wasn't it, in a way, just looking around and watching him go through his paces. With regards to the mental approach to it and confidence, when that subject comes up, the fighter on this card who really springs to mind is Dubois, because so many questions have been asked of him throughout his career since that defeat against Joe Joyce, and then again after what happened against Usyk. There's quite a lot of revisionism about what happened against Usyk in that fight, and he hung in there, but ultimately he did go out on a knee. When he took on Jarrell Miller, that was it. Frank Warren was very clear during the week. That was just before Christmas 2023. He was very clear, Frank, this is it. He has to show us that he can do this, or unfortunately, even me, who was championing him at every available opportunity, even I will have to admit that he's not what I've always hoped he would be. And he responded to that challenge, and then we've seen him go into the fight against Hrgovic and then Joshua. It's been quite remarkable, really, the fact that he's managed to find that self-belief.
And self-belief is everything. Self-belief is absolutely everything. And it'd be like with the switch of a light. And so for Daniel, he'll look back and think, well, actually, yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I'm capable of doing this. So then it can rocket away with itself. He's had to be humble, and his problems aren't thinking, can I beat you? His problems are beating himself. Can I do this? Am I going to gas out? He's not thinking you're better than me. His problem with himself. Now he's at the point thinking, I've done this. I don't care who's in front of me. Remember the presser between him and AJ, and AJ, you proper just put it on AJ. Say no, I'll have some of this. So to me, I think it was so important that Daniel showed confidence and self-belief. He's grown into a fighter that believes in himself.
Well, right on cue. The man who is in the Daniel Dubois business, Hall of Fame promoter Frank Warren, has come to join us. And Frank, we were just talking about how before the Jarrell Miller fight, you made it quite clear to Daniel, and you've been happy to go public with it, that was it for him. That night was the night, that he had to show you on that night that he was what you'd always hoped he could be. And he responded. He was under a lot of pressure, and we've just been saying we can see what's happened to him since. Once you find that self-belief, it's amazing what you can do.
Well, he's had belief in himself. It's just that I don't think he didn't handle well the situation with the referee in the Usyk fight. He just didn't handle that well. The referee, the big gap in between, and he was pulling him, kept pulling him up about low blows and various other things, and that was it. But that for him was a coming of age fight. He'd come out of that fight, we sat down, we spoke about it, and I said to him, screw the referee, it's not about the referee, it's about you be your own referee. And focus all the time. You're in the other guy's backyard. I know it was in Poland, but it was where all the a lot of Ukrainian people are, and that was it. And that was a turning point for him. And the Miller fight was a fight where, let's get it right. Miller went into it, tried to unsettle him straight away, but mentally and so. When he weren't successful in doing that, he stood his ground. He gave it back to him, and in the fight, he won 8 of the 12 rounds at least, and the last round showed what he's all about. He's dangerous at any moment in a fight with the power he's got.
And what a night at Wembley! What a night in September at Wembley Stadium! It was
done an absolute job. He stamped his authority in that fight within the first minute. That superb jab he threw, which knocks AJ's head completely back, and he was in command of the fight. He got caught a couple of times. I think it was in the 4th or 5th round. Good uppercut, he caught him with AJ, but he was in command all the way through that fight.
If you can handle occasion like that, Matt, too, then you can handle any occasion, really, because we were kind of wondering that night, how's he going to look on the ring walk? It doesn't always mean everything, but often it can mean something. And he just looked like he could not wait to get in there.
Yeah, I think the crucial thing in Dubois' career before the AJ fight was the Hrgovic fight and the Miller fight. Those two wins gave him, I think, the confidence in himself that he can do it at the top level, that it can be tough and hard in there, but that he can come through it and still get the win, because that Hrgovic stuck it on him. Those fights got hot and heavy there, and he beat down and came through it and got the win, and I think he needed to do that to believe in that he could beat AJ. Not just get a lucky shot, but go in there and be the better man. Because obviously, once he knocked him down in the first round, I don't think AJ recovered after that. But even before that, he was winning the fight on the jab, Dubois was.
Yeah, he's got superb jab. And the Hrgovic fight, he went into that with a guy who was confident and nobody wanted
and
to
highly
fight him.
fancied as well.
Nobody wanted to fancy him. He was an underdog again in that fight. And as you say, at those first sort of 2.5 rounds, he must have chipped about 15 right-handers, real good powerful punches. He's got a good chin. Yeah. He has got a good chin. But
he just had to have the belief in his chin.
Of course, it's that's it. And the belief in himself. You know, I know he got that fight with Usyk. He went down, but I mean, it wasn't a big punch or anything. It was, that was, and the one obviously with Joe Joyce. I mean, 4 fractures in his eye socket. He was out for nearly 8-9 months after that fight with that injury. But he's there. He's at an age now. He's not shy anymore. You know, he says what he's got to say. He's
going into it,
and he's comfortable. And more importantly, he's got the power to do it. He's got the boxing brain and the power to do it.
As I said, Daniel's problem isn't the opponent. Daniel's problem was Daniel. Now Daniel believes in Daniel. There's a problem for everybody else. Because you see how this guy, you don't sense fear. There's no fear at all. He's like, I'm having some of this. And he's got a smile on his face. Because he knows what he's capable of doing. When he's been hit and when he's been hurt and thought, can I do this? Now he knows he can do it. He's up, he's in there. That's what makes him dangerous.
And he's never been in a boring fight. Every fight has exciting fights. He carries power. And I'll tell you something, he hits someone, if he hits you on the arm, you know you've been hit. Wherever he catches you, you know the power. And that can take the fight. And that can take the fight out of people when they get caught like that.
Well, let's not forget Joseph Parker's a Queensberry guy too. In fact, in the heavyweight division, if anyone's kind of wondering who a heavyweight is signed with, it's best just to assume he's with Queensberry. Just before we let you go, Frank, the card in top to bottom is absolutely tremendous. But just a quick word on Hamza Sheeraz, because you built him expertly, and now he's ready to go.
I hope he is. I believe he is. He's in with a good fighter. It's not a gimme, this fight. You know, the other guy, Ademis, is a very, very good fighter. We believe that's the direction for him. That's why we made the fight. It's a tough fight, but I believe it's a fight that he can win. He has the tools to do it. He's got a very good boxing brain. He's got a superb jab again, as we talk about jabs. I mean, it's a big thing for me, but he's got a superb jab. He's got a lot of power. He's a very hurtful puncher. He's got a good boxing brain, and for a big tall guy that he is for his weight, he can fight on the inside.
Is he a left-handed orthodox fighter?
Normally you get big, tall, rangy guys. They stay on the outside, work behind. He gets inside and he throws really good body shots. He does remind me, in some ways, of a Tommy Hearn.
Yeah.
He's a cracking fighter. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks very much for your company, Frank. Thanks very much, everybody, for tuning in. It really is an extraordinary card on February the 22nd. More often than not, cards are described as being stacked these days, but this is that and more. Most people covering the sport haven't seen anything like this, maybe ever, certainly not for a number of years. So make sure you catch all the action on February the 22nd, when Riyadh season will continue to rumble.